I watched my mother-in-law direct movers to throw my dead daughter's toys into a dumpster. She told them to hurry before I got back from visiting her grave, but I came home early. And what I heard her say next made my blood run cold. The moving truck was parked in my driveway when I pulled up. Two men were carrying Emma's dresser down the front steps, the white one with rainbow stickers she'd spent an entire afternoon decorating during her last good week. Patricia stood on the lawn with her arms crossed, wearing a crisp navy blazer and her signature gold watch. She was directing the movers like she was conducting an orchestra. "Careful with that," she barked. "We're donating it to Goodwill. Make sure it's not scratched." I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Emma had been gone for 3 months. 3 months, 2 weeks, and 4 days. I still counted every single one. If you think this is bad, just wait. It gets so much worse. Keep watching. I got out of the car slowly, my legs shaking. I'd just come from the cemetery where I'd spent 2 hours sitting by Emma's headstone, telling her about my week, about how her stepdad Marcus still couldn't sleep in her room, about how we were trying to keep going even though the world felt like it had ended. "Patricia," I called out, my voice surprisingly calm. "What's going on?" She turned and smiled. Actually smiled. "Oh, Natalie. You're back early. I told Marcus I'd handle everything so you two wouldn't have to deal with it." She gestured at the movers. "We're clearing out Emma's room. Derek's girlfriend just found out she's pregnant. They'll need the space when they visit for the holidays." Derek, Marcus's younger brother, the one who'd shown up to Emma's funeral for exactly 20 minutes before leaving to take an important call. "They'll need the space?" I repeated slowly. "Yes. Finally, a real grandchild." Patricia's eyes lit up. A biological Whitmore. Someone to carry on the family name properly. Not like... She stopped herself. But we both knew what she was about to say. Not like Emma. Not like the daughter I'd brought into my marriage with Marcus. Not like the little girl who'd called Patricia grandma, even though Patricia always introduced her as Marcus's stepdaughter. "You won't believe what I did next. Stay with me." "Where's Marcus?" I asked, walking past her toward the house. "At the office. Someone has to keep working, Natalie. Grieving doesn't pay the bills." She followed me inside. "Besides, he agreed this needed to happen. We can't keep this house frozen in time forever." That was a lie. Marcus would never agree to this. He'd been the one who insisted we keep Emma's room exactly as it was. He'd been the one reading her favorite books in there every night, sitting in the dark, pretending she might walk through the door. I stepped into the living room and felt my heart shatter all over again. Boxes everywhere, labeled "Donate" and "Trash" in Patricia's perfect handwriting. Emma's drawings, the ones she'd made during chemotherapy, when her hands shook so badly she could barely hold a crayon, were stacked carelessly by the door like garbage. "You can't throw those away," I said, rushing over to grab them. "They're just childish scribbles, Natalie." Patricia waved her hand dismissively. "We need to make room for the future. For Derek's baby. For a child who will actually grow up." The air left my lungs. "What did you just say?" "I'm being practical." She straightened her blazer. "Emma's gone. Keeping all this stuff won't bring her back. Derek's baby is due in March. This room has excellent light for a nursery. This is where everything changed. You need to hear this." I pulled out my phone with shaking hands. My fingers moved on autopilot, pulling up my text thread with Marcus. "Emmy, come home. Now. Your mother is here." 3 dots appeared immediately. "Marcus." "What?" She said she was going to lunch. "What's she doing there?" "Emmy. Clearing out Emma's room for Derek's baby." The dots stopped, then started again, then stopped. My phone rang 5 seconds later. "She's what?" Marcus's voice was pure rage. I'd never heard him sound like that. "Everything's in boxes," I said quietly, turning away from Patricia. "She's donating Emma's furniture, throwing away her drawings. I'm 10 minutes away. Do not let her touch anything else." He hung up. Patricia was standing behind me, her face pale. "You didn't need to call him. This is between us." "Between us?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You came into my house and started dismantling my daughter's room while I was at her grave." "Your house?" Patricia's eyebrows shot up. "This is a Whitmore family home. Marcus bought this house." "Actually," I said, pulling up my phone again, "my aunt left me this house when she died. Marcus moved in after we got married, but the deed never changed." "Want to see the property records?" I watched the color drain from her face. "Oh, it gets even better." "Trust me, that's irrelevant," Patricia said quickly. "Marcus is your husband. What's yours is his. That's not how property law works in Arizona. I pulled up another app on my phone, the one connected to our security system. But let's talk about something else. Did you know we have cameras? We installed them everywhere when Emma got sick. She was terrified of someone breaking in when she was too weak to run. Patricia's eyes darted around the room, finally spotting the small cameras in the corners. Everything's recorded, I continued. Everything's backed up to the cloud, including this conversation. Including you saying we need to make room for a real grandchild. Including you calling Emma's drawings childish scribbles. You're twisting my words. Am I? I pulled up the footage from 15 minutes earlier and turned the screen toward her. Let's watch it together. On the screen, Patricia was talking to one of the movers. Get rid of all of it. The Whitmores are finally getting a real heir. Not some sick kid who wasn't even Marcus's blood. The mover had looked uncomfortable but kept working. Patricia's face went white. Turn that off. No, I think Marcus needs to see this. I started uploading the clip to our shared drive. Actually, I think everyone needs to see this. What happened next shocked even me. Patricia lunged for my phone. Actually lunged, like she could delete a cloud backup by grabbing my device. I stepped back and she stumbled, catching herself on the couch. Natalie, please, she said. And for the first time, her voice cracked. I didn't mean it like that. I loved Emma. You know I did. You loved her? I felt tears burning in my eyes. You couldn't even say her name at the funeral. You called her the girl in your speech. Do you remember that? The girl who brought joy to our family. Not Emma. Not your granddaughter. The girl. That's not fair. You sent separate Christmas cards. One for Marcus. One for Emma. With different amounts of money inside. Did you think we didn't notice? Emma noticed. She asked me why Grandma Patricia gave her $20 when she gave Cousin Jake $100. Patricia's mouth opened and closed. She made you a birthday card, I continued. Last year. She was so weak from chemo she could barely hold the glitter glue, but she spent hours on it. Pink construction paper. Your favorite color. It said, I love you, Grandma. Do you remember what you did with it? Silence. You left it on the table. Didn't even take it home. Emma asked me if you didn't like it. I was going through a lot. She was dying. My voice broke. She was 8 years old and dying, and all she wanted was for you to love her. But you couldn't do that, could you? Because she wasn't really a Whitmore. Then Marcus arrived, and everything exploded. The front door slammed open so hard it hit the wall. Marcus stormed in, still wearing his suit from work, his tie loosened, his face red with fury. Mom, he said, his voice deadly quiet. Get out. Marcus, if you'd just listen. No, he walked straight past her to Emma's doorway, staring at the half-empty room. His hands were shaking. You did this. While Natalie was at the cemetery. While I was at work. You planned this. I was trying to help you move forward. Move forward? Marcus spun around, and I saw tears streaming down his face. She's been gone for 3 months. 3 months, Mom? And you're already erasing her like she never existed. Derek's baby needs. I don't give a damn about Derek's baby, Marcus shouted. That's Emma's room. That's where I read her bedtime stories. That's where she told me she was scared of dying. That's where I held her the night before we took her to hospice. Patricia took a step back. She called me Dad, Marcus continued, his voice breaking. Not Marcus. Not stepdad. Dad. She drew me Father's Day cards. She made me breakfast in bed. She asked me to walk her down the aisle at her wedding someday. He picked up one of Emma's drawings from the trash box, a crayon picture of our family holding hands under a rainbow. This was my daughter, he whispered. Blood doesn't make family. Love does. And I loved her more than anything in this world. But Patricia's response? It destroyed any chance of reconciliation. She wasn't your blood, Marcus. Patricia's voice was cold now. I know you loved her, but she wasn't yours. Derek's baby will be a real Whitmore. A real grandchild. This is about legacy. The silence that followed was deafening. Marcus set down the drawing carefully, like it was made of glass. Then he walked to the door and held it open. Get out, he said quietly. Get out of this house and don't come back. You don't mean that. I mean every word. You disrespected my daughter. You disrespected my wife. You violated our home. He pointed to the door. Leave. Now. Marcus, I'm your mother. My mother would never do what you did today. His voice was steel. My mother would never call a dying child's artwork trash. My mother would never clear out a little girl's room while her parents were grieving. Patricia looked at me, then back at Marcus. If I leave now, you may never see me again. Good, Marcus said. Because if you ever come near this house again without permission, I'll file a restraining order, and I'll send that security footage to every single person in the family so they know exactly who you are. Patricia's face crumpled. For a moment, she looked old and small. Then she straightened her blazer, lifted her chin, and walked out without another word. And then the real bombshell dropped. She wasn't your blood, Marcus. Patricia's voice was cold now. I know you loved her, but she wasn't yours. Derek's baby will be a real Whitmore, a real grandchild. This is about legacy. The silence that followed was deafening. Marcus set down the drawing carefully, like it was made of glass. Then he walked to the door and held it open. Get out, he said quietly. Get out of this house and don't come back. You don't mean that. I mean every word. You disrespected my daughter. You disrespected my wife. You violated our home. He pointed to the door. Leave. Now. Marcus, I'm your mother. My mother would never do what you did today. His voice was steel. My mother would never call a dying child's artwork trash. My mother would never clear out a little girl's room while her parents were grieving. Patricia looked at me, then back at Marcus. If I leave now, you may never see me again. Good, Marcus said. Because if you ever come near this house again without permission, I'll file a restraining order, and I'll send that security footage to every single person in the family so they know exactly who you are. Patricia's face crumpled. For a moment, she looked old and small. Then she straightened her blazer, lifted her chin, and walked out without another word. And then the real bombshell dropped. The next morning, I sent an email to every single person in the Whitmore family. Subject line, the truth about yesterday. I attached the security footage. All of it. Patricia saying Emma wasn't real family. Patricia calling her artwork trash. Patricia admitting she planned it while I was at the cemetery. I attached a second video too, Patricia's voicemail from that evening, where she begged Marcus to delete the footage and think about family loyalty. And I attached a screenshot of my property deed, just to make it crystal clear whose house it was. The message I wrote was simple. This is what Patricia Whitmore did while I visited my daughter's grave. Emma was 8 years old. She loved all of you. She deserved better. We all did. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Within an hour, my phone was ringing non-stop. Marcus's Aunt Cheryl called first, crying, apologizing for never standing up to Patricia's treatment of Emma. His cousin Jake, the one who'd gotten the bigger Christmas checks, sent a long text about how he'd always thought Patricia's behavior was wrong, but didn't know how to say anything. Derek called Marcus directly. I'm done with her, he said. I'm so sorry. Emma deserved so much better. Even Marcus's father, Patricia's ex-husband, called. They'd been divorced for a decade, but he'd heard about it through the family grapevine. I should have stopped her years ago, he said. She always played favorites. Always cared more about image than people. I'm sorry, son. And Patricia? She tried to do damage control, but it backfired spectacularly. Patricia sent her own email 2 hours later. A long, rambling message about context and misunderstandings and grief making people say things they don't mean. She claimed the security footage was edited. She claimed I was manipulating Marcus. She claimed Emma's room needed to be cleared for everyone's mental health. But here's the thing about lies. They fall apart under scrutiny. Marcus's cousin posted Patricia's email in the family group chat alongside the original footage. Which part was edited? Aunt Patricia? The part where you called Emma not real family? Or the part where you said Derek's baby would be a real Whitmore? Marcus's aunt replied. And how exactly is clearing a dead child's room good for her parents' mental health? The family turned on her completely. She was uninvited from Thanksgiving, removed from the family trust. Her church friends, the ones she'd bragged to about Derek's miracle baby, found out the truth and stopped calling. Within 2 weeks, Patricia Whitmore went from family matriarch to family outcast. But the best part? The absolute best part? Listen to this. 3 months later, Marcus and I were having dinner when his phone rang. Patricia's number. He stared at it for a long moment, then answered on speaker. What? Marcus. Her voice was small, broken. I need to apologize. Go ahead. I was wrong. About Emma. About everything. I let my pride and my obsession with legacy blind me to what really mattered. She was your daughter. She was my granddaughter. And I failed her. Silence. I found the birthday card, Patricia continued, crying now. The pink one she made me. It was in my car's glove compartment. I must have put it there and forgotten. I read it today, and I broke down. She loved me, and I never told her I loved her back. Marcus closed his eyes. I'm so sorry, Patricia whispered. I know I can't fix this. I know you probably hate me, but I needed you to know that I see it now. I see what I did, and I'm sorry. Okay, Marcus said quietly. Can I come to her grave? To say goodbye properly? Marcus looked at me. I nodded. We're going Sunday morning, he said. 9 a.m. You can meet us there. Thank you. Thank you so much. She hung up. And here's what happened that Sunday. Patricia showed up at 8:45 a.m., early. She was wearing a simple black dress, no jewelry, no designer bag. She looked like she'd aged 10 years. She'd brought flowers, pink roses, Emma's favorite. Marcus and I watched from a distance as she knelt by the headstone and wept. Really wept. The kind of crying that comes from the soul. She talked to Emma for 20 minutes. We couldn't hear what she said, but we saw her place the pink birthday card on the grave, weighted down with a rock. When she finally stood up and saw us, she didn't try to hug Marcus or make excuses. She just said, I'm sorry, and walked away. Marcus and I approached the grave together. The birthday card was still there, slightly faded but intact. Emma's glitter glue handwriting, I love you, Grandma. Underneath, Patricia had written in pen, I love you too, Emma. I'm sorry I never said it. Grandma Patricia. Marcus picked it up carefully and put it in his jacket pocket. Do you forgive her? I asked. He thought for a long time. I don't know, he finally said. Maybe someday. But not today. And that's where we are now. It's been a year since that day. Patricia sends a card on Emma's birthday and the anniversary of her death. She never asks to visit. She never pushes. She just acknowledges that Emma existed and that she mattered. Marcus doesn't respond, but he keeps the cards. Derek got his vasectomy. He and Ashley are no longer together, but they're cordial. The baby, a little girl named Maya, is healthy. Derek sends us pictures sometimes, which is nice. The rest of the Whitmore family has been incredible. They started an annual charity fundraiser in Emma's name for childhood cancer research. Last year, they raised $50,000. Emma's room is still exactly as it was. We don't go in there much, but we keep it clean. Sometimes Marcus sits in there and reads. Sometimes I do too. It's not a shrine. It's a memory. A testament to a little girl who loved glitter glue and rainbow stickers and calling Marcus Dad. And if anyone ever tries to tell us she wasn't real family, well, they've seen what happens. Because blood doesn't make family. Love does. And we loved Emma with everything we had. If this story hit you hard, share it. Someone needs to hear this today.